All right, Larry Kruger here from the Pig and a Pickle Krug Show with a little 49er Jaguar preview. And of course, Pig and a Pickle, the best barbecue in all of Northern California. Check them out in Emeryville and Corte Madera. They're open 7 days a week from 11 a.m. till 8 p.m. or until they run out. Pig and a Pickle, the best barbecue in all of Northern California. And this video is brought to you by Mojo Fantasy. That's right. I'm loving Mojo Fantasy. Check the link in the description. Make sure you use the promo code Krug and get up to $100 matched on your first deposit. And everybody who does automatically is entered into a drawing to win a Purdy or a Bosa jersey on Thanksgiving night. And this week in Mojo, I'm going Brandon Ayuk over 4.5 receptions, Evan Ingram over 5.5 receptions, Travis Etienne over 59.5 rushing yards, Christian McCaffrey over 28.5 receiving yards, and Brock Purdy under 239.5 passing yards. Let's talk a little bit about the 49ers and the Jaguars. Now, the Niners made some moves on Saturday. They placed Drake Jackson on the injured reserve. Jackson's been dinged up for the last few weeks. He had the bust out week one against Pittsburgh, and he really hasn't been heard from since. They put him on IR, and I don't know if he's slated to return. Also, cornerback Shamar Jean Charles has been elevated to the active roster from the practice squad. And then Willie Snead and Curtis Robinson have both been activated from the practice squad standard elevation. I was hoping that we would see Jalen Graham at one of these games. But the 49ers, for whatever reason, don't feel like Graham is ready to contribute. Jackson or Robinson, I should say, is more of a special teamer, and probably will wind up playing special teams in this game against Jacksonville. Now, Drake Jackson has seen his playing time really drop since the acquisition of Randy Gregory, and he's been dealing with a knee injury. As I said, 3 sacks in week one. He, really didn't have any pressures, I think, since week 4. He'll be ineligible for at least 4 games, and Gene Charles will take his spot on the roster. Um, and the Niners announced last Monday that they've opened the practice window for Samuel Womack III and Darrell Luter Jr., a couple of young cornerbacks, and Robert Beal Jr., a rookie defensive end out of Georgia. And the Niners have 3 weeks to decide whether or not to add each player to the active roster or shut them down for the season. Chase Young also practiced with the team for the first time on Monday. He's expected to go in this game and have a significant role. Deebo Samuel returned to practice. He is going to play on Sunday. Trent Williams is listed as questionable, and it's going to be a game time decision whether Big Trent's going to go. If he's unable to play, Jalen Moore will take his spot at left tackle. Aaron Banks has already been ruled out with turf toe. John Feliciano will start in Banks's place, and it sounds like, according to Shanahan, that after Banks gets healthy, Feliciano's either going to slide into Brendel's spot at center or possibly Spencer Burford's spot at right guard. But expect John Feliciano probably to start the rest of the year. So they want to get Feliciano on the field. He started 46 games in his NFL career, and they want to get him out there. They feel like he's one of their better guys. When he did play earlier this year, he graded out highly. Of course, the Niners are coming off a bye, and they're looking to break a 3-game losing streak, and they're going to do it against a Jacksonville team that's the hottest team in football. Jags have won 5 in a row. So let's talk a little bit about the matchup. First of all, from the Niners' perspective on the offensive side of the ball, you got to establish the run. The 49ers have not been able to run the ball effectively. And Brock Purdy's got to take better care of the football, and they have to be patient. I really believe that if the 49ers are going to get into a run that leads them in any way to a Super Bowl, they're going to have to play complementary football, which means that the offense is going to have to protect the defense by dominating the time of possession. I'd love to see more Jordan Mason this week. I don't know that we will see him or not. I personally would love to see him. Love to see a little bit of Ronnie Bell. Love to see a little bit more of Ray McLeod. We are going to see the return of Deebo Samuel, and that should help this team quite a bit. But how can the Niners block on the left side of that line without Trent Williams potentially and without Aaron Banks is going to be probably the biggest subplot on the offensive side of the ball going up against this Jaguar team. Now, the Jaguars on the right side of their defensive line have Adam Gotsis and Trayvon Walker. So that's going to be he Trayvon Walker plays that right outside backer spot. Josh Allen plays, the left outside linebacker spot. It could be, it sounds like we may get Trayvon Walker on Colton McKivitz and Josh Allen on either Trent Williams or Jalen Moore. But those two spots are going to be absolutely crucial. Trayvon Walker was the first pick in the draft, and he's very strong. He's a bigger defensive end. He's good at holding the point against the run. And then, the Jaguars have, Faloranzo, Fatakazi, and Adam Gotsis inside. They're big physical guys as well. So, I mean, this is a really good Jaguar defense. This is one of the best defenses the Niners are going to face all year. What they do is they take the ball away. And so the 49ers really have to be on their game as far as not turning it over, because you're not going to win this game in Jacksonville against this Jaguar team if you're -2 on the turnover table. The other thing on offense is you got to get those two inside linebackers blocked. Devin Lloyd and Foye Oluokun are two of the better players in the league. And if you haven't heard of Oluokun, you're going to know him well by the end of this game on Sunday. The guy wears number 23. He makes all kinds of tackles. He's one of the best athletes in the league. He played his college ball at Yale, believe it or not, that football powerhouse known as Yale in the Ivy League. Oluokun is an amazing player. He came into the league with the Atlanta Falcons. He's 6'3", 230, runs like the wind, and if you let him, he'll make every single tackle. He's just fantastic. And then on the other side, on the inside, is Devin Lloyd, and Lloyd is a big inside backer. He's 6'3", about 235, very athletic, played for the Utah Utes in the Pac-12, first-round draft choice in the 2022 draft, and he's got elite measurables. He's fast. He's instinctive. They really have four outstanding linebackers. It's a 3-4 front with Faloranzo Fatakazi on the nose, and then Josh Allen and Trayvon Walker outside, Lloyd and Oluokun inside. It's a really good defense. The Niners are going to have to establish the run, and they're going to have to – Brock Purdy's going to have to be patient. And they're going to have to play complementary football. They're going to have to dominate the time of possession in this game to protect their own defense. And it's not going to be easy. Andre Sisco, the free safety, is back from injury. Tyson Campbell, who's probably their best defensive back, is also back. The former Georgia Bulldog was a second-round pick in the 2021 draft. Darius Williams is a corner the Niners know really well from his days with the Rams. Darius Williams is a phenomenal player and is having maybe his best year. So this Jaguar defense is legit on all three levels. Trey Herndon is a good corner as well. He did drop a pick in the last game against the Steelers. And then they've got some decent backups. Antonio Johnson had an interception against Pittsburgh. Andrew Wingard had an interception against Pittsburgh. Rayshon Jenkins, the former Hurricane, is a hell of a player. So, I mean, this is a good defense. This really is. Is it better than the Browns? I don't know. I would say the Browns probably a little bit more big time with Myles Garrett, but there's good players and great athletes on all three levels of this defense, and they'll play some games up front. They'll play some looping games. Day one Smoot gets involved as well. He's a key guy for them as far as outside of their starters. They'll play Smoot quite a bit. So the 49ers on offense, the key is going to be establishing the run and taking care of the football. You can't turn it over, and you got to establish the run. And you might, the Niners may have to get creative here. You may have to see some end arounds to Debo. I would imagine Debo is going to be a major portion of this game plan. He's fresh. I'd love to see Ayuk get the ball in the red zone a little bit. But it's really important that Brock Purdy takes care of the ball, and it's really important that the Niners win the time of possession and keep their defense on the sideline. That complementary football angle on this thing for the 49ers, I think, is going to be the key to whether or not this season goes down the tubes or if they can bounce back and get on a winning streak. They've got to cover their defense. Nick Bosa played 68 snaps against Cincinnati. He's played 60 snaps in 4 games this year, including the last 3. So they got to limit Bosa's snaps. So offensively, that's really the key. I mean, Trent, if there's no Trent Williams, Jalen Moore and John Feliciano are going to have to step in on that left side and do the job. Uh, Colton McKivitz and Spencer Burford are going to have to rise to the occasion. McKivitz has had some struggles recently. Burford's having a really difficult time just going 4 or 5 series in a row without committing penalties. Jake Brendel's going to have to be strong. I mean, the Niners are going to need their offensive line to open run lanes and protect Brock Purdy. They got to dominate the time of possession. They got to establish the run, and they got to probably feature Debo in this game, maybe as a runner. I know they want to limit how many carries Debo gets, but in this game, I think they're going to need him as a runner. Just end arounds, whether it be hitch passes, shovel passes. Debo's going to have to be a major part of this run game for sure. All right, let's flip the card and talk about the other side of the football. Now, this is interesting as well. Trevor Lawrence is, big, strong arm guy. He's tough. He's really tough. He'll stand in and take hits. So you're not going to scare him. You're not going to intimidate him. He's a big physical quarterback who will take hits. They have a lot of speed. Travis Etienne had a 56-yard touchdown catch against the Steelers before the bye. They also have Tank Bigsby, who's a decent running back as well. But Etienne's their number one guy. And then their weapons have big time speed. Calvin Ridley and Christian Kirk and Jamal Agnew, if they go to 3 wides, can flat out run. I believe Zay Jones is hurt and is not going to go in this game. So you may see Agnew in the 3 wide receiver sets. And all 3 of those guys can really run. So the tendency is to want to, give them some room and not let them run by you. But the 49ers have the last couple of weeks have given up over 80% completion percentage to Kirk Cousins and Joe Burrow. They've got to hug up on the coverage and take away some of the easy stuff. The key matchup in this game is going to be how the 49ers defend Evan Ingram, number 17, the former New York Giant tight end. Ingram's interesting. He came out of Ole Miss as a guy who, a lot of people thought was going to be a really special player. Giants drafted him in the 2017 draft, and he just didn't work out. I mean, he just didn't work out. He was raw. He's always been able to run. He's a fast 6'3", 240-pound player. Jacksonville rarely uses him in line. They use him more flexed out. And he's the continuity piece in this offense for the Jaguars. I mean, if you watch Jaguar football, it's this guy moving all over the formation and Trevor Lawrence connecting with him, and that's the continuity piece. That's what keeps their offense on the field. Teams are so geared up to stop the speedy guys that have bigger names and bigger reputations, guys like Christian Kirk and Calvin Ridley, Travis Etienne, a former first-round draft choice, and they're not thinking about Evan Ingram. But Evan Ingram is the key guy, and the 49ers have to take him away. Now, the Niners have done a good job on tight ends in the past, but this is almost like a jumbo wide receiver. And he had 10 catches for 88 yards against the Steelers, and every week that seems to go by, Ingram's a bigger part of what they do. Now, why do they go to him as much as they do? Partially because he's got great momentum going right now, partially because guys take bad angles and he gets some good run after the catch because he's got a lot of speed. But it's also partly out of need because their offensive line is really just pretty ordinary. They've got Cam Robinson and Walker Little on the left side, Brandon Scherf and the rookie Anton Harrison on the right side. Luke Fortner's their center. They don't have a spectacular line by any stretch. So the ball's got to come out fast. And Lawrence gets it out fast. And when he does get it out fast, he's looking for Evan Ingram. So the Niners really have to do a nice job at stopping Evan Ingram. This game is also going to be the debut of Chase Young. He's going to wear number 92. And the 49ers, if Hargrave can go, he battled a knee injury late in the week. If Hargrave can go, this is going to be the best defensive line the 49ers have put on the field in a long, long time. Chase Young and Nick Bosa outside, Javon Hargrave and Eric Armstead inside. You also have Dre Greenlaw, a little bit fresher coming off the bye. And, of course, Fred Warner. It's probably the best linebacker duo in the game right now. And then, the bye, we'll see what the bye week did for the 49er defense. There was a lot of missed tackles the last 3 weeks with this 49er defense. They looked very, very fatigued against both Minnesota and Cincinnati, I thought. They need Mooney Ward to play well. They need Isaiah Oliver to play well. They need their safeties to make some plays in the run game. Talanoa Hufanga, Tayshaun Gibson have to make some plays in the run game. I don't think we're going to have any real surprises as far as personnel. I don't think you're going to see Jair Brown. I don't think you're going to see Jalen Graham. I don't think you're going to see D. Winters. I don't think you're going to wind up seeing Kalia Davis. I think, the guys they have are the guys they're going with. And hopefully they're freshened up after the bye week and can make some plays and look good against the run. The last couple of weeks, it looked like the 49ers didn't want to run into anybody. Like they were out there just, trying to just win games without expending energy. Now they're coming off the bye week and they should be fresher. What does that do to a Dre Greenlaw? What does that do to a Fred Warner? The Niners are going to hit the ground running in this game because they know that they got to have it. I mean, this one they got to have. You can't lose 4 in a row and call yourself a Super Bowl contender. So it's going to be a hell of a matchup. I like the 49ers to win a very close game. I'm going to say 24-21 49ers. They're a 3-point favorite. I think that makes some sense. Hopefully Vegas knows something. There's a lot of people that feel that Jacksonville should be favored. Jacksonville's won 5 in a row and hasn't trailed in over a month. 49ers have lost 3 in a row and have barely led in the last month. But, it's not about what you did last week. It's what you're doing this week. I think the 49ers are going to bounce back. I like them to win a close game, but they got to have this one. Purdy said it, and he said it with a lot of emphasis this week. He's like, we need this one. So the 49ers are going to, whatever their best effort is, I think you can expect to see it in this game. And I think it's going to be good enough to get a win on the road. The key in this game is, and this is something that, the Niners always defer to the second half as far as taking the ball versus putting their defense on the field. In this game, the lead means so much, and the 49ers are so much better playing from ahead than they are from playing from behind that I might consider taking the ball in the first half and, to start the game and seeing if I can drive down the field and get on the board first and kind of take it to the Jaguars. So it should be a really interesting football game. I saw Jacksonville 5 weeks ago lose to Houston at home. So it's not like there's some unbelievable, unbeatable football team. They're beatable, but it's a young, talented team that has a lot of confidence going up against a veteran 49er team that was limping into the bye, and we will see how they come out of it. All right, thanks to Pig and a Pickle for being the title sponsor of the Krug Show, and thanks to Mojo Fantasy for being the sponsor of this video. Check that link in the description. Make sure you use that promo code Krug and get up to $100 matched on your first deposit. And everybody who does automatically is entered into a drawing to win a Bosa or a Purdy jersey on Thanksgiving night during our post-game show. And thanks to all you guys for supporting the Krug Show on YouTube.